I actually have a Bachelor of Science in Biology and came to set decoration in a very circuitous route. After college, I went into research. I always thought I was going to be in the medical field. I worked in hospitals and ambulances and all kinds of things all through college. And when I went into research, I absolutely abhorred it. Being low woman on the totem pole, I had to do a lot of the shall we say, mutilation of animals in order to harvest the materials that we needed. And after a couple of years, I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't sacrifice one species for the good of the human species. I was not cut out for it. So in despair, I called my brother, who had just graduated from film school at NYU, and I said, "What am I going to do with my life?" He said, "Well, try film. You've always written. You're a good editor. Why don't you try that?" And I said, "Okay, great, sure. What can I do? How do I do that?" And he said, "Call some people." I was living in Cincinnati at the time. And I did. I called some people, and someone eventually said, "We need an editing intern." And I said, "Great." I packed the car, moved to New York over the weekend, found an apartment with a friend of mine, and started from there. And eventually fell into an art department job when someone called me and said, "Would you like to be an art department PA?" And I said, "Certainly. What's an art department and what's a PA?" And I showed up for work and was just eager and willing and thought it was the most fun I'd ever had in my life, and ended up driving the Decorator around. And I learned at her feet, basically, watching what she did, watching what she chose, trying to learn on my own, reading books and figuring it out. This was in New York in the late 70s, early 80s, and I just had a ball. I loved it. It was the world's biggest scavenger hunt, and somebody paid me to do it. I thought, okay, I'm hooked. People often think that we're interior decorators, which we are to a certain extent. That's a small segment of what we do. But I don't think Mark Hampton ever had to do a circus or, some backlot in some farm and ranch and racetrack or some horror movie. You never know what we're going to be asked to do to service the script. So we're sort of a combination of psychologist and logistics expert and interior decorator and manager of people. We're a human resources manager. We bring so many different talents to the one job classification. It's not, it's hard to describe to someone who hasn't done it. It's changing now because technology is changing so much. I mean, I can remember running around New York with a beeper in my pocket and getting 911 beeps and trying to find a payphone. Now, of course, everyone's got a cell phone glued to their ears or an iPad or, you've got your computer in your pocket and you're constantly in touch with everyone. That the communication is very, very, very quick. The largest thing that's impacting us right now is the role of computer graphics in our industry, and it's a constantly evolving question of how do we meld it into the existing framework of the structure of our jobs and the way they have been for the time that I've been in the industry. Where do you use that technology, and who makes the decisions about where it gets used, and how each department is going to be woven into that fabric? It's a constantly evolving question right now. Each job is different.